Hello and welcome to HCMF Half Term Day 4. Today we have Sounds That Can Heal with Natalie Sharp, who is just there on our screen. Before we begin, I would just like to mention a little content warning. This session will be looking at sounds made by hospital machinery, and Natalie will be playing an instrument made out of a replica spine. So it's important for today's session that parents should be present throughout, please. And just another quick reminder before we do begin that tomorrow at 11 a.m. we have our final workshop, which is Arabic singing and movement with Camille Malawi. So please feel free to join us for that. But for now, I'm going to pass you over to lovely Natalie as she takes you through hospital machinery noises.
Hi everyone, my name's Natalie Sharp and I am an artist. My art is all about biology. So today, as Tamsin said, we're going to be exploring the sounds of a hospital. And those sounds are, let me just share my screen. So today we're going to be looking at hospital healing sounds and all of the different types of amazing machinery that you might find inside a hospital. So the first thing we'll need to do is find a few bits and bobs around the house. So mums and dads, cats and dogs, guinea pigs, hamsters, all feel free to join in with this. So we're going to need the following: a torch or any kind of handheld light like a bike light. I have this one here, which is a bit fancy. It's an LED light. And then you will need a shower curtain or just a window curtain. Now, don't take it away from where it is. Leave it where it is. And it's just something that we're going to be using as part of the workshop. I have this lovely silver piece of fabric behind me, which has got pleats in it. Next, we'll need a glass or a beaker of water and a straw. And then we will need a pump. This is like a pump that you might use to inflate a bed with, or you might have a bicycle pump. Now, don't worry if you don't have any of these things. You can always just use your voice. And then if you have a ruler, that would be very useful. Rulers make great noises. A sheet of cardboard, so just a hard piece of paper like this. So a sheet of cardboard, which is just a harder piece of paper. Now a nice warm jacket. I have this one here, which has got a zip on it, and it zips all the way up. So anything that's got a zip on it, a sleeping bag would be ideal. Something with buttons or knobs, so like a remote control, or you might have a radio, or anything that's got buttons and knobs on it. And lastly, we'll need some headphones. I've got some headphones here. Now, we won't need the headphones all the time, but there will be a little symbol on the screen for when you might need to use the headphones. And the headphones are very much for the sounds that are called binaural sounds. And we'll talk a bit more about those later. So let's put some wait music on. And this is the music that you might hear inside a hospital. Whilst we're waiting for you to gather those things, I'll go through them again with you. So a torch or a bike light, a curtain, a cup of water and a straw, a pump, like a bike pump or something that inflates things, a ruler, a sheet of cardboard, a jacket with a zipper, something with buttons and knobs, and a pair of headphones. Okay, so let's get our voices ready. We're going to do some warm-ups. And thanks to the NYX choir for showing me how to do these warm-ups. So let's start massaging our mouths and massaging our jaws and get them nice and loose, like this. Now we're going to make some, as though we're cold noises, like this. Inhale and exhale. And shake your head a little bit, and we'll do that again. Inhale and now let's see if we can get those noises to go up and down. Okay, now I want you to stand up. Just do a little bit of shake. That's it, shake it all out and make some noises. Okay, so if everyone's ready, we're going to start with my most favorite of machines. Now, in order to get inside this machine, you will be asked a series of questions, and these questions are related to whether you might have any metal fragments inside your body. The reason they ask these questions is because the machine is a huge magnet. It's called an MRI scanner, and it's very, very strong. It's actually 2 Tesla strong, and that means that it's stronger than the Earth's core, so it's stronger than the magnetic pull of the Earth. So you'll be asked these questions that are on the screen here. And here is me asking you these questions as though I am the MRI scanner machine. Have you ever had any shrapnel injuries to your body? Have you ever had any metal fragments in your eyes? Do you have a history of severe allergy or have a reaction to a contrast dye used for an MRI, CT, or X-ray examination? So when you've been asked those questions, you'll be kept in a waiting room, and they'll give you a basket, and they'll ask you to put on this lovely hospital robe here. So this machine is called an MRI scanner, and that stands for Magnetic Resonance Imaging Machine. And how it works is it scans the entire contents of your body, and it does that through lots and lots of different angles. What you have to do is remain very, very still, and you'll have a set of headphones on and a little squeezy button just in case you need any help from the nurses and doctors who will be inside a radiology box. So, first of all, we're going to listen to these sounds, and then we're going to see if we can try and recreate them with our voices. So let's listen to the sounds first. Also, when we do listen to the sounds, just to let you know, some of them are quite high pitched, so you might want to turn your volume down a little bit, and you'll hear a woman's voice.
This one's going to be 1 minute. It's extremely loud, nothing to worry about. Noise starting now.
Okay, let's see if we can make that noise with our voice. So the first noise I heard was the sound of the helium cooler, which sounds a little bit like it's breathing. So to begin with, we would go, and then the second noise sounded like a beep. And that beep is going to go from one side of the room to the other. That's called panning. That's when you go from left to right and then back again. So let's make that noise. Now change the shape of your mouth and see if that changes the sound of the noise. So make the same noise, but change the shape of your mouth this time. And that's the sound of an MRI scanner. Okay, this time, let's have a look at how we might imagine the MRI scanner if we were to use a light. So we'll listen to the noises, and as we hear the noises, we are going to scan with our bike light or whatever light that you've got to hand, like a torch. So let's hear the noise, and as we hear the noise, we're going to use the light to scan ourselves, okay? Now you might want to try that one with movement as well. But as we are a bit short on time, I'm going to move on to the next thing. So these are the curtains. These are hospital curtains, and they are normally on like a long track above your head, and you can open and close them, and they sound like this. Let's play them again. So now go and find your curtains and see if you can make that noise with the curtains. A shower curtain works quite well for this. You can wrap yourself up inside the curtain and then unwrap yourself from the curtain. So this one's pretty cool. It's called an automated instrument rinse system, and it makes a very strange bubbly noise. Let's see if you can imagine what we might use to make this sound. That's right. Get your beaker of water and your straw, and let's see if we can make that sound along with the sound that's playing. Wow, that was bubbly fun. Now, the next one is called a blood pressure pump. And this one is something that you might have if you go to the GP. This is usually the kind of thing that they do. They'll check your blood pressure. This one here is a manual one. So for this, you will need your bike pump, or I have this pump here. So let's hear the sound. Okay, let's see if we can make that sound with our pump. That sound at the end is it letting out all of the air. Okay, this one is very exciting. Who knows what this might be? So this sound is called an ultrasound scanner. And before you were born, you were inside your mother's belly. And your mother would have gone to the radiologist and had a scan of her belly. And what this is here is it's the scanner, and then they'll put a little bit of gel on and rub it all over the belly, and you'll hear this sound. So let's take our piece of card and see if we can make that sound. Can you hear that? And this is the sound of the baby's heart beating inside mum's belly. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to ask you to pop your headphones on if you have some. Don't worry if you don't, it's just that this sound works best if you do have a set of headphones. It's called a binaural delta wave. And this little baby is inside an incubator. So the incubator is for babies that might have come out of mother's belly a little bit too early. And that means that they've got to stay inside this very safe little box here. And it's a very, very warm and cozy box. So that's why we're going to listen to a nice, warm, healing sound, which is called a delta wave. Now, when we do this, I'll ask you if you'd like to pop your sleeping bags or your jackets on so we can get nice and cozy. I'm going to put mine on as well. This looks a bit like a space jacket, this. And you get your headphones on. We'll zip our jackets up and get nice and cozy like we're in the incubator with the baby. I'll put my hood on. Okay, so if you've got your hood on, you've got your headphones on, let's listen to the binaural delta wave. Wow. How cool was that? It's a bit like being in a spaceship, or how I imagine being in a spaceship. So I hope everyone can hear me okay. Apologies if my sounds are a little bit quiet. I have turned them up to the max. Trying not to blow my speakers up. So this next instrument is called a orthopantomograph. Can you say that? Orthopantomograph. And a bit faster. Orthopantomograph. And what this does is it takes an X-ray of the inside of your mouth. And this is called a panoramic X-ray. So we're going to listen to the sound and then we'll pop the ruler inside our mouths. Make sure that it's a clean ruler, first of all. And then we'll listen to the sound whilst we've got the ruler in our mouths. And we have to keep very, very still when this happens, okay? Wow, how cool was that? I should have said that you could use your light for that one as well, or if mum or dad or one of your brothers or sisters is nearby, maybe they could use the light for you. So on to the next one. What have we got here? Wow, this is called a coagulation analyzer. Does anyone know what this does? Hands up if you know what this does. Yes, that's right. It's for analyzing whether we're just going to play with the analyzer because it kind of looks a little bit like a cool synthesizer. And I have lots of synthesizers inside my studio, so you could use a remote control or something with buttons, or if you happen to have a Moog Mother 32, I'm going to use that. So let's hear the sounds and press the buttons whilst we're listening to the sounds and see if we can modulate the sound. Modulate the sound just means that you are changing the style of the sound. Okay? Okay, next up we have a wall-mounted suction unit. So what do you think we might need to make this sound? Oh, I've actually lost mine. We'll need a straw to make this sound. Oh, there it is. It's in the water. This is wall-mounted suction unit. And you get these inside every hospital, and they're normally mounted on the bed behind where the hospital bed is. And they're to make sure that whilst you're asleep, that there's no blockages inside your body. So this is what this is for. So let's hear the sound and then see if we can make the sound with our straw. Very blowy, that one. Okay, so we're coming towards the end of our workshop now. So I wanted to introduce you to the spine. Now, the spine is a very, very important part of your body, and it's what keeps you upright, and it's what allows you to walk and stand up and sit down. And it also has a nervous system running all the way through it. And what that does is it sends electrical signals from your brain all the way down your spine, and depending on whereabouts in your spine it is, it'll send those signals out to all parts of your anatomy, so all the way from your head to your toes. So on here, we've got a description of what these cervical spine noises are. So if we start with the top.
Cervical spine, the atlas, C1, holds the skull in place.
So the cervical spine, which is the pink bit up here, that's called the cervical spine because it's at the top. And the C1, which is the very, very top part of the spine, the top vertebrae, that's called the atlas because that's part of your skull. And your skull looks a bit like an atlas, so it holds the skull in place. There's a C1. And let's see what's next in the spine.
Thoracic spine.
That's the thoracic spine, and that's made up of 12 different vertebrae. And that's the middle part of your body. And then at the very bottom, we've got this part.
Sacrum coccyx, a little piece of bone made up of a fused vertebrae. All that is left of the human tailbone. The Greek word coccyx meaning cuckoo, as early anatomists thought it resembled the cuckoo's beak.
We actually missed out a very important part of the spine there, which is called the lumbar spine. Lumbar to mean lower back. And that's the lower 5 vertebrae of the back. And sometimes that's where you can get a lot of back pain and back problems, which affects 1 in 2 people throughout the world. And then that bit at the bottom was called the coccyx, the sacrum and coccyx. And the reason it's called a coccyx is because in Greek, that's coccyx means cuckoo, because they thought that the coccyx looks a little bit like a cuckoo's beak. And that's your tailbone. So that's the area that's been fused together. So this is a picture of me and my pal Tyra, and we're doing a performance, and this is all about the spine. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now because I'd like to introduce you to my favorite musical instrument, which is a musical spine, and it's very cool. And my friend Tyra here, who I'm examining, she helped me design this spine, and we use it as a musical instrument in our performances. Ooh. Where do I? Okay, so I can't stop sharing my screen. So what we'll do is we'll bring on, let's see, let's try that again. Oh, my mouse has disappeared. Okay, never mind. What I'll do is you'll see a picture of the spine in your screen. It'll be quite small, but it's actually the size of a large human-sized spine. And I'm just going to move it over. So hopefully you can see this. I'm going to spin this around. It might be quite small, but it's actually really, really big. Now, when I play different parts of the vertebrae, they're going to light up depending on where I play. So let's have a go. Let's start up here. Let's turn the lights off for a better effect. Okay, so I'm going to play the spine now. Okay, let's play it a little bit more. Now, these are all sounds that are inspired by the first machine that we show, which is called an MRI scanner. So let's keep going because we are running out of time now. Okay, so we're going to go back to the binaural tones, which is what we were listening to when we were inside the incubator. Now, for this, it's it would be really cool if you were able to pop your headphones back on so that you can really understand the sound. And this is called a healing tone. The reason it's called a healing tone is because it works on a low frequency. All the frequency means is it's a measure of sound. So the lower the frequency, the lower the tone or the lower the note. And the higher the frequency, the higher the tone or the higher the note. So we're going to listen to some very low frequencies, but they're both slightly different in measurement to each other. And the frequency measurement is measured in what's called hertz. So we're going to listen to two different hertz. And we're going to pop our headphones on so that we can hear them. And that's what the binaural beat is called. And this is very, very good if you would like to relax or fall asleep or meditate, things like that. So everyone get comfy. If you don't have these crazy big marshmallows, just pop your sleeping bag on or pop your jacket back on again and put your headphones on. Now these sounds are quite loud again, so just to warn you, you might want to turn the sound down on your computer. And we're going to play two different tones, and they're called binaural tones. You might want to close your eyes here and take a deep breath in and exhale. Feel your body rising and falling, rising on the inhale and falling on the exhale. You just want to relax your whole body. And let's hear that second tone. Wow. And that brings us to the end of our session. So it just brings me to the end of the session with you, and I want to say a big thank you. And I'd like to thank hcmf for allowing me to do this great workshop with them, and also to the BBC Sounds Archive, where I took some of the sounds from, and Free Sound as well. And I'd like to thank you for tuning in and listening along with us. And I hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope that you enjoy the last workshop, which is happening tomorrow, same time again at 11 a.m. So thanks, everyone.